Okay, what's in this box? This is a thicker box. This probably has more than one in it. So it's Christmas here at the Classic DM store, right? Let's get this open here and see, is it some reprints or is it old books? I've been going on a 4E kick later, and this has got information that we don't want you to see. Let's just hide that over here. Forgotten Realms Campaign Guide, yay. So this is nicely bubble wrapped. We got 2 books here, and we'll get all this packing monkey business out of the way. Monster Manual 2, which we needed. Get this out of the way. And Forgotten Realms Campaign Guide. So let's just focus in this video on the campaign guide. You may remember we got the player's guide previously, and we went through that. It's thin, but this is great because if you're a player, it helps you learn everything about the Forgotten Realms, especially if you pair that with Karen Wynn Fonstadt's PDF or a copy of the actual original book that has the map. This is Bruce Cordell, Ed Greenwood, and Chris Sims. Another embossed, beautiful 4th edition book. This book was $40 back in the day. It's hard to believe we have to pay almost $60 for the Pathfinder Remastered books coming up, which has got me a little bummed. Oh, this book is in fantastic condition. I don't think it's ever been used. What a good deal. I think I got these books for like $15. Let me put this more in the center. So what's the main emphasis here? You know, as a campaign guide for the Forgotten Realms, it has a lot to live up to. I mean, this campaign world's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of novels written since they wrote this stuff. So I'm probably going to flip through this one relatively quickly. It's going to talk about Loudwater. This may be some kind of adventure area. I never heard of Loudwater before. Your campaign during 1479 DR, okay, that's the time frame. Magic for the Spell Plague, Earth Nodes, Earth Motes, Face Sites, Mythals, Plaguelands, and Portals. This is the event. Cosmology, the Pantheon of Gods. They're all the same gods. They're probably just going to provide more information. Faerun and Beyond. So there's going to be other locations like Chult, Baldur's Gate, these places we know already. East Rift, Narfell, Najarna. So there's a lot of geography happening here. Then the return to Aebir, Dust Portals, the Underdark is in here, Deep Waste, Earthroot, Menzoberranzan's in here. Threats, that's cool. So the Drow, Church of Bane, Church of Shar, Gibberlings. So these are major groups that are threats, and there's new monsters at 287. This is fantastic. Oh, wow. This will be a great book. Let's flip through this one pretty quickly here. Not that it doesn't deserve more time, but as a DM book, it could use I don't know what this Loudwater is. Let's just read this first part here. The Loudwater sits at the confluence of the Limbeer and Greyflow rivers. The forested shoulders of the Star Mountains rise above the town's northwestern sky. These cloud-veiled peaks remind the townspeople of the people of the town's stretched wild land. That sounds anonymous. What is this? I don't know what this is. I'll have to read this in more detail. I don't even know where this is located. So I have to look at those 2 rivers and figure it out. It looks like Alaska. So it looks like they've added, yeah, this is an adventure. This is like a campaign adventure. This map is kind of low. So I don't really want to read through an adventure and a campaign guide. So I guess they decided to give you something to work with as a starting point. The Catacombs. This should have been in a different book. I don't know why they did this. Maybe they felt that they needed to have more data in here. Okay, so this is where it probably should have started. Chapter 2. So the first 38 pages is some random adventure with a bad map. This is more conceptual for the DM, adventuring and getting around. The history. Sorry if you're not excited that I skipped the adventure. I don't like that. If I wanted to buy an adventure, I would buy an adventure. I want the details and the grit. So when I'm creating my adventure in this world, I know how to look things up. There's some junk in there. At least it's not a booger. Dawn Ages, Days of Thunder. Heroic Tier Treasures. Terminology or descriptor. Okay, that's fine. Wow, it's a great shot. Magic. Effects on the landscape. This is all about the Spell Plague. This is a big thing in 4E, this whole Spell Plague, how it happened. So they're having to support that. By creating an event that's global, it gives them the opportunity to then spend a lot of time explaining how it changes things. So it doesn't just feel like another 2nd edition, 3rd edition, or 3.5 edition book cash grab. So I understand why they did that. There's nothing wrong with your living world having wow, that's a cool looking sword, having events that change it. And look at WoW Cataclysm. That's a great, beautiful piece of art here. Cosmology. So this is going to be about all the gods in the astral sea, the afterlife, elemental chaos, the Shadowfell, the Feywild. Wow, that's a great picture. Pantheon of Gods. We all know who these are. So this is going to be repeated information. Gelambor, Lolth, Ogma. Soon, Torm, Tempest, Saloon, Shar. Not much has changed there. Devils. Faerun and Beyond. Okay, that's kind of a bad piece of art. I hate to be an artist and have Classic DM just shit on your picture. I really should be more fair, but I'm a critical guy. I think the concept behind this picture is great. You have this sweeping view with this dragon. I can't even tell if it has a rider on it. Overlooking the sea, but then the perspective is off in certain sections. This isn't a true 2-point perspective. It kind of makes you wonder, like, who's the art director on and letting that happen. It could just give them another pass or two and corrected the 2-point perspective. Okay. So these are going to be the same format that you saw in the Forgotten Realms player guide, where it talks about an area of the world and it has a little map like this thing here, like here's the thing on the Great Dale. It'd be interesting to see when you actually sit down and read this, is this exactly duplicated content, or is it, that would be unfair. So we're gonna skip all that. This is just breakdowns of individual regions. Let's see how far that extends. Wow, that's thick. Moonshay. Hopefully what it is a lot more information. I guess as an experiment, you could pull one out of one book. This is, look how many pages of this atlas type stuff in here. I always felt like it was such a disappointment that we didn't get a big old map like the World of Greyhawk did in the old days. You get the big, beautiful Darlene map. Where's the big map? It should be like stuck in a little pocket inside the book, but I guess it'd be too expensive from a publishing perspective. You're getting about 2 to 3 pages per area here. And I'm going to start flipping. Let's flip a little bit to get past all this geography. So if you need geography, and you get these little maps, they're okay. I mean, who can, ever since the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, no one's really done a city well. They've always just done these anonymous cities, lots of little roof lines, you don't know what they are. Long ago, the world twinned to save it from the final conflict between gods and primordials. The gods took one sibling, Toril, and the primordials claimed the other as Abir, or Abir. Ages later, the spell plague, which Iberians call the blue breath of change, caused the two separate worlds to collide and overlap. Portions of each world shifted into the other. Then the worlds separated again, contact severed, with each contributed to the other. Perhaps as much as one quarter of Toril now hosts lands native to Aber. That is a weird concept. Returned Abir. So it looks like there's some kind of like random additional continent added to the Forgotten Realms campaign. So that's kind of tricky and kind of odd. I almost wish that it was just another place. So some elements are connected, some elements are not. I will need to research this further to try to get a sense of what would be the motivation for doing that when the Forgotten Realms is just so massive. Maybe they felt that the Forgotten Realms was pretty much exhausted, like every little novel and every book had pretty much covered everything. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment. So this is almost describing another land. This is Menzo Brenz, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that. Having that stuff stuck in here is great. Tear brushy. That's used so much. Okay, threats. This was something you heard me comment on at the onset. Having enemies, groups, organized groups is really, really useful. Really, really useful. And it has the stat blocks for these guys too. This is great. Really good. That's really useful for someone creating a campaign. Even if you're running a campaign and your players head off in a different direction, you've got something you can work with right here. And it has their tactics in here as well. Encounter groups, cult, the dragon, even a drow section. This is wonderful. That looks like Jarl Axel there, but it doesn't say who it is. In his Renaissance fair. All he needs is a big poofy hat, right? The 5 companies. So this is all the organized enemy groups that you could work with. We're on page 258 already, and we're still not done. Servants of Shade, Example Shade, Naramus. Level 11 Elite Skirmisher. All the stat points you need here. Wow, this is wonderful. You could play this game. If you just had 4th edition, you could play D&D for 300 years. Couldn't you? We just flit around from version to version to book and do things like I do and buy books. I have massive respect for this version of D&D. I really, really do. R.A. Salvatore and his son. September the 9th of 2008. Get on board The Stowaway, the first installment of an all-new Young Readers trilogy written by New York Times bestselling author R.A. Salvatore and his son Gino Salvatore. Featuring an appearance by R.A.'s signature character, Dritz Stewardon, The Stowaway is sure to attract longtime fans and new readers alike. I wonder how it did. It even has the ISBN number on there. Oh my God. You have to laugh. I always find it funny when you go back in the back of the old books and you see all the promotional material and the stuff that never panned out. So this is a great book. It's in great condition. It doesn't have any heat molding problems, and the embossed covers are wonderful. We got to play some 4th edition, guys. Oh man, I love AD&D so much, but 4E is just calling out to my soul. Let's go see another book. I'll stop this video and we'll separate it out, and we'll check out Monster Manual 2 next.